Christian faith and fiction, inspirational reading suggestions, along with chats about the Christian faith. The following episode is an audio version of a video that I recorded for my YouTube channel, Christian Faith and Fiction. If you would like to watch the video rather than listen to the audio, you can do so by clicking the link in the show notes. Please do share your thoughts by commenting either on the video or on the relevant blog post, links in the show notes. Hi, it's Lou from Christian Faith and Fiction. Today we are going to take a look at some new Christian fiction books that are releasing in March 2024. So these are the books that I could find that are listed as Christian fiction. If you know of any more, please do add them in the comments. I haven't read any of these books, so I can't tell you what the content is like, how much Christian content there is, or if there might be something in them that might not be appropriate. That being said, let's jump right in and have a look at this month's list. So in Mystery and Suspense, Never Fall Again by Lynn H. Blackburn releases on the 12th of March and is published by Revell, and it's Gossamer Falls Book 1. Landry Hutton has spent 3 years rebuilding her life behind the secure gates of the Haven, an exclusive resort on the outskirts of Gossamer Falls, North Carolina. As the artist in residence, and with her pottery prized by the Haven's guests, Landry is finally ready to settle in permanently. She wants to give her daughter Eliza a safe home to grow up in, and hires former Marine Callum Shaw to handle the construction. Cal grew up in Gossamer Falls and always knew he would someday join his family's business. He longs for a family of his own, but has almost given up on that ever happening. Landry is funny, gifted, and everything Cal could ever want in a partner, but he vows to keep his distance. Landry has a daughter and a past. Cal has been down that road before and barely survived when the woman he loved left, taking her 2 sons with her. He can't bear to lose that again. Before construction of the house can begin, Landry's pottery is destroyed in a suspicious fire, and it soon becomes clear that Landry and Eliza are in grave danger, but because of whom? But after losing one relationship, he is hesitant to try again. Baby Protection Mission by Laura Scott releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired Suspense, and this is Mountain Country K9 Unit Book 1. When a baby is targeted, can a K9 team keep him safe? When his sister is kidnapped, Rancher Cade McNeil will do anything to prevent his baby nephew from being next. Now Officer Ashley Hansen and her K9 partner are on the case, and it's up to them to track down the assailant and keep Cade and his nephew from harm. But as the suspect list grows and the attacks escalate, will they bring a kidnapper to justice before he strikes again? Cold Case Target by Jessica R. Patch releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired Suspense, and this is a crime scene cleaners book 2. Caught in a serial killer's deadly game with nowhere to turn, interrupting an attempted murder and leaving with incriminating evidence makes Sissy Spencer a serial killer's next target. With a flash drive in her possession containing disturbing proof of multiple murders, Sissy has no choice but to trust her ex-boyfriend, private investigator Beau Brighton, to keep her safe. But can they unravel the clues and track down a killer before he catches them first? Colorado Double Cross by Jennifer Pierce releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. I'm having trouble saying that today. An undercover assignment turns into a dangerous mountain escape. Following the suspicious death of his partner, DEA agent Nick Anderson goes undercover to expose a drug cartel and a mole in his own agency. The last thing he expects is his late partner's widow, Alexis White, conducting her own secret investigation. Now his cover is blown and it's up to Nick to keep Alexis alive, but with killers on their heels, the search for answers could be his deadliest mission. Rocky Mountain Survival by Jane M. Choate, I'm not sure how you pronounce that name, releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Running from unknown enemies, but the wilderness is no refuge. Narrowly escaping death after being attacked, photojournalist Kylie Robertson flees to the mountains with her ex, former Navy SEAL Josh Harveth. She doesn't know who's after her or why they want the flash drive of photos she took. Together they must piece together the mystery behind the pictures, but with killers running them down, will tackling a dangerous conspiracy become a second chance they won't survive? Tracking the Truth by Dana Mentink releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired Suspense, and this is Security Hounds Investigations Book 1. To expose a suspect, he needs evidence and a canine's instincts. After Emery Duncan is abducted and dumped in a lake, private investigator Roman Wolfe and his bloodhound partner rescue her from an icy death. Someone doesn't want Emery to find out what really happened the night her father confessed to attempted murder. To keep Emery and her baby nephew safe, they must uncover the connection between her father's confession and the attack, or they'll be silenced for good. Treacherous Escape by Kellie VanHorn releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired Suspense. Framed for murder with the real criminals in pursuit, a groundbreaking discovery catapults biochemist Vienna Clayton into a world of danger when her laptop is stolen and her boss is murdered. Vienna flees onto Stormy Lake Superior, only to be rescued by park ranger Hudson Lawrence. She's framed for crimes she didn't commit, and they're determined to clear her name, but with the clock ticking down, it's the threats they can't see coming that could cost them their lives. In historical fiction, A Love Discovered by Tracie Peterson releases on the 5th of March and is published by Bethany House, and this is The Heart of Cheyenne, Book 1. I don't know if I've pronounced that name right. The heart finds its way when one least expects it, even in the most unforgiving frontiers. Invited by a friend to trek west and help establish the newly formed town of Cheyenne, Edward Vogel is prepared to leave the haunting memories of his wife and son's deaths behind him. The only problem is the corrupt new railroad town wants family men who can establish law and order, and desperation leads Edward to his friend Mary Beth with the proposition of marriage. After her father's death leaves her with no means of support, Mary Beth Kruger is in danger of having her 2-year-old half-sister taken from her, so when Edward Vogel, the widower husband of her late best friend, offers her a marriage of convenience to escape both their troubles, she has no choice but to accept. Life in Cheyenne is fraught with danger, but will this arrangement be enough to save Edward and Mary Beth from the pasts they tried to escape, or will life with each other put them and their hearts in more danger than ever? If the Boot Fits by Karen Witemeyer releases on the 12th of March and is published by Bethany House, and this is Texas Ever After Book 2. Determined to prove that cattle king Eli Deering has no justification for evicting his stepmother and half-brothers, Asher Ellis uses the cover of a fancy ball to break into the Three Cedars ranch house to search for proof of wrongdoing. On the verge of discovery, he flees, but a boy's cry compels him to make a daring rescue. Spunky and independent, Samantha Deering balks when she learns the ball her father is hosting in her honour is nothing more than a matrimonial ambush. Taking a break from her unwanted suitors, Samantha spots a thief fleeing her home. When the stranger ends up saving her brother's life, she hides the only clue to his identity left behind, his boot, and resolves to find him herself. But when Samantha encounters the older brother of a student she tutors, all thoughts of the bootless mystery man vanish, and although Asher tries to keep his distance from Samantha for reasons of his own, a series of suspicious accidents befall her, and his protective instincts flare no matter the cost to their future. This Western reimagining of the classic Cinderella fairy tale is an enchanting story of courage, family, and the power of true love. Set in Stone by Kimberley Woodhouse releases on the 12th of March and is published by Bethany House, and this is Treasures of the Earth, Book 2. From the time she was little, Martha Jankowski has been digging in the dirt, much to the dismay of her mother. Now she dreams of being a paleontologist and is determined to make her parents proud by uncovering the next big discovery. When Martha finds what she hopes to be a fully intact dinosaur skeleton, one that could win her an acclaimed exhibit, she learns another team is competing against her and could steal her chance at being recognized for this momentous discovery. Paleontology student Jacob Duncan has fulfilled his dream of digging for dinosaur bones at last. In a race against time, he and his team are bent on unearthing a complete skeleton to claim a museum exhibit with their names on it. But when Jacob meets their charming competitor Martha and uncovers foul play within his team, love and danger grow hand in hand until a menacing ruse threatens to destroy it all. A Nobel Scheme by Roseanna M. White releases on the 19th of March and is published by Bethany House, and this is Impostors Book 2. Gemma Parks is known throughout high society as G.M. Parker, a columnist renowned for her commentary on the cream of society. Behind the scenes, she uses her talent to aid the impostors in their investigations by gathering intel at events and providing alibis for the elite firm's members through her columns. Yet her clandestine work would be more exhilarating if it weren't for the constant presence of the gentleman who broke her heart. Graham Wharton had never had eyes for anyone but Gemma, and she left his soul in tatters when she walked away from him. When the impostors take on a new job to recover a kidnapped boy mistaken for his aristocratic cousin, Graham is determined to use the time with Gemma not only to restore the missing boy, but also to win back the only woman he's ever loved. As they trace the clues laid out before them, Graham must devise a noble scheme to save the boy's life and heal their hearts. The Lady with the Dark Hair by Erin Bartels releases on the 26th of March and is published by Revell. This is a dual timeline story. Esther Markstrom and her artist mother have always been proud of their ancestor, painter Francisco Vela. They even run a small museum and gallery dedicated to raising awareness of his scandalously underappreciated work. But when Esther reconnects with her former art history professor, she finds her once solid family history on shaky ground as questions arise about Vela's greatest work, a portrait entitled The Lady with the Dark Hair. In 1879, Catalan orphan-turned-fugitive Viviana Torrens has found sanctuary serving in the home of an aging artist in southern France. It is in his studio that she meets Francisco Vela, a Gibraltarian merchant who sells artist pigments. When her past catches up to her, she is compelled to pose as Vela's sister and join him on his travels, or be deported back to Spain to stand trial. Along the way, she will discover that the many parts she has been playing in order to hide her identity have far-reaching implications she never could have foreseen. In contemporary romance, Love Unscripted by Denise Hunter releases on the 12th of March and is published by Thomas Nelson. She thought she'd scripted the perfect boyfriend, but she's convinced that the actor cast to play him doesn't know a thing about real love. Frustrated with the sad state of her dating life, restaurateur Chloe Culpepper penned a single romance novel featuring the man of her dreams. Upon the book's publication, the hero resonated with thousands of women, catapulting the book to the top of the bestsellers list and earning the novel a movie option. Chloe is thrilled a production company wants to bring her movie to the big screen and film it right in her hometown, Stillwater Bay, South Carolina. But when the producer casts Liam Hamilton, a notorious Hollywood playboy, for the part of her beloved Ledger, she's appalled. He's just like her unfaithful ex-boyfriend and her duplicitous father. How can Liam possibly understand, much less portray, the wonderful character who captured her heart and made her readers swoon? An embarrassing and contentious first meeting does little to allay Chloe's fears about Liam. The man hasn't even read her book. But one thing she knows, she must win him over if she's to influence his role and save the integrity of her movie. Due to the deceitful tabloids and some minor commitment issues, Liam Hamilton's reputation and career is in jeopardy. On the advice of his manager and best friend, he offers a bargain with the wholesome author of his upcoming film if she will appear in public as his steady girlfriend during the making of the movie. He will take her direction on the role of Ledger. Could a little quid pro quo offer a solution to both of their problems, or will the bargain cause more trouble than either of them could possibly imagine? Just for the Summer by Melody Carlson releases on the 19th of March and is published by Revell. Ginny Masters manages a popular boutique hotel in Seattle and manages it with aplomb. But the daily challenges and irritations of a fast-paced job and a demanding boss are starting to get to her. Jacqueline Potter manages her grandfather's fishing lodge in Idaho because it was the only job she could find after graduating with her hospitality degree. She's grateful for the work but longs for a more sophisticated and cosmopolitan life she's just not going to find in this backwoods town. The solution to both their problems seems obvious. Just for the summer they'll swap jobs and lifestyles, but they never anticipated swapping love interests. A Father's Vow by Maday Schmidt releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired. His daughter is his priority, but is there room for one more? Dedicated to protecting his daughter and the town of Sweetwater, widower Constable Jack Wells will do anything to stop the vandalism at their beloved wildlife preserve, even partner with its new veterinarian. But fighting his attraction to Emerson Parker might be the greater challenge. Soon their on-duty stakeouts evolve into off-duty family outings, but with heartbreak in his past, is he ready to risk a second chance? Bonding with the Babies by Deb Kastner releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired. The one that got away came back, and she brought a twin surprise with her. After she rejected his public proposal, Frost Winslow didn't expect to see Zoe Lane again, with his infant twins in tow. Now Frost is determined to do right by his babies, but when the emotional support dog he's training keeps gravitating towards Zoe, it's clear she's hiding something more. As Frost grows into his new role as daddy, could a real family be in their future? His Unexpected Grandchild by Myra Johnson releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired. This toddler will steal his heart just in time to open it. The last thing Lane Bromley wants is to leave his remote mountain cabin, but when his struggling daughter shows up with a grandson he didn't know he had, Lane's search for the boy's father leads him to the other surprise veterinarian, Julia Fraser. They can't seem to agree on anything, but maybe they can find common ground long enough to create a loving environment for their grandchild and each other. The Cowboy's Return by Danica Favourite releases on the 26th of March and is published by Love Inspired. To give their daughter a home, can they move on from their past? Leaving his troubled past behind, Luke Christensen returns to his hometown to care for his grandmother and discovers he's a father. Now he's determined to make amends and do right by his family, but Maddie Anta, the mother of his child, is on her own road to redemption. As Luke gets to know his daughter, he and Maddie grow closer. Could old feelings reignite, or will a family conflict stand in their way? In fantasy and sci-fi, Hybrid by Candice Cade releases on the 5th of March and is published by Enclave Escape, and this is the Hybrid Book 2. This book is not listed as Christian, but the first book in the series was. Lee Urban's search for truth could destroy everything. And description of Book 1 reads, Lee Urban is a living lie. In a society where everyone's DNA determines their destiny, being a natural means automatic relegation to the gritty and dangerous outskirts. With the harnessed power of gene editing, the ability to create a superhuman race has transformed the world and offered the opportunity of a genetically enhanced life. But only to those who can afford it. Born a natural, Lee Urban was adopted into the enhanced high society of the Asian Federation and forced to conceal her genetic roots. When her dream of attending Peking University becomes a reality, she is determined to go despite a warning from a mysterious source. Targeted by a hacker bent on exposing her true DNA, Urban faces off with an artificial intelligence game that puts her and her lies to the test. What was supposed to be a dream come true turns into a lethal gamble of hide and seek with her genetics. Can Urban continue the act, or will the cracks in her story expose her and endanger her family? Riptide by Lisa T. Berggren releases on the 19th of March and is published by Enclave. This is Oceans of Time, Book 2. The trap is set and time is slipping away. Description of Book 1 reads, Can a family bond stand the test of time? Lady Tiliani Forelli is the epitome of the she-wolves who raised her, an adept archer with a mind of her own. It is long past time for her to wed, but she deems each young lord who comes to bid for her hand lacking. With battles upon their border and rumours of war growing louder on every front, Lady Forelli's decision could secure her kingdom's peace or bring about its destruction. Centuries later, history major Luciano Betterini takes a summer job alongside her twin, Domenico, as a period actor at Castello Forelli in Italy. As incoming college seniors, this might be their last chance to spend meaningful time together, so she's soaking up every minute. But when Nico's theory that their lost Betterini relatives have travelled through time becomes potentially real and they might be able to follow, Lucy feels they'll be forever divided. And finally, in contemporary fiction, Between You and Us by Kendra Brookhouse. I tried to look up how to say that, but there was quite a few different pronunciations, so I apologise to Kendra for that. Releases on the 12th of March and is published by Waterbrick. When a grieving woman unexpectedly steps into a different version of her life, she must choose between the husband she loves and the daughter she lost in this brave, gripping novel. 3 lives, 2 outcomes, 1 impossible choice. Leona hopes enjoying a rare upscale meal with her husband David will help them begin learning how to live again after their shared tragedy. But when she crosses the threshold of the ridiculously romantic restaurant, she quickly realises she doesn't belong. It's not only her thrifted dress or the menu printed in Italian, it's all the clues pointing to the fact she's in a different version of her life, the one where she and David accepted all the strings attached to his parents' wealth and power. Instead of struggling to pay rent, she lives in a lavish home with working faucets. She's no longer teaching English to high schoolers, but attending brunch with a bunch of high society busybodies, aka her mother-in-law. Leona would put more effort into figuring out how to get home, but there's one thing stealing all her attention, a precious little girl with her green eyes and David's curly hair. In this outcome of her life, her daughter Vera lives. Now Leona must weigh the bitter and sweet of each world, choosing between the chance to be with Vera under the impossible expectations of her in-laws and distant husband, or the life altered by grief with a man she loves. So those were the books I could find that are releasing in March 2024. Let me know in the comments which of them you would like to read, and if you know of any more that are coming out that month. I hope you're having a really great reading week, and until next time, I pray that God blesses you and your family. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Christian Faith and Fiction podcast. If you would like more information, you can click the link in the description. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast app to make sure you catch the next episode.